You're going to be shocked. Some vitamins you thought were keeping you healthy could actually be increasing your risk of stroke, and you might be taking them right now without even knowing it. These aren't rare or exotic supplements. They're common, trusted, and sitting on bathroom counters across America. In this video, we'll break down the hidden dangers and what you need to know to stay safe. But before we dive in, let us know in the comments, where are you watching from? We'd love to hear from you. Now, let's get into it. Number 1, vitamin E. It may sound shocking, but too much of the so-called heart helper vitamin can quietly raise the risk of bleeding inside the brain. Vitamin E is often celebrated in magazines, television ads, and even medical leaflets for its ability to support circulation, protect skin, and boost memory. For decades, many older adults in America have added it to their routine, believing it is harmless, even essential. The truth, however, is more complicated. At high doses or when combined with common medications, vitamin E can become dangerous. Consider the story of Evelyn Brooks, an 81-year-old retired librarian from Ohio. She was sharp, witty, and beloved by her grandchildren. Every day she read books aloud, sharing both knowledge and laughter. Evelyn also lived with a heart valve condition and had been prescribed warfarin, a widely used blood thinner. Her doctors monitored her carefully and her health seemed stable. One afternoon, however, she bought a bottle of natural vitamin E from a magazine advertisement. Each capsule contained 800 IU. Believing it would protect her memory and keep her skin youthful, she took it daily for weeks. Not long after, she collapsed at home with a crushing headache and confusion. In the emergency room, scans revealed a hemorrhagic stroke, bleeding inside her brain. She survived, but was left with impaired memory and the need for a cane. Through tears, she later said, "I just wanted to help myself. I never thought I was doing harm." Her story is not an isolated tragedy. Scientific evidence has confirmed the risk. The recommended daily intake of vitamin E for older adults is just 15 milligrams, which equals about 22 IU. Yet most over-the-counter supplements in American stores contain 200, 400, or even 1,000 IU per capsule. Research published in the Journal of the American Medical Association found that high-dose vitamin E supplementation increased the risk of hemorrhagic stroke by nearly 22%. This happens because vitamin E in excess acts like an anticoagulant, slowing blood clotting in the body. When combined with blood thinners such as aspirin, Plavix, or warfarin, the effect is magnified. What appears to be a harmless vitamin can turn into a silent threat, especially in the brain where even a small bleed can steal speech, mobility, or independence. Biology explains the danger. Vitamin E, being fat-soluble, accumulates in tissues rather than flushing out like water-soluble vitamins. When levels rise too high, the blood's ability to clot weakens. For younger individuals, the body may compensate, but in older adults with fragile blood vessels and reduced resilience, the balance tips toward risk. This is why knowledge becomes power. Reading labels, asking doctors, checking blood levels, and listening carefully to the body are not just suggestions, they are safeguards. Still, the message is not to fear vitamin E, but to respect it. At safe levels, vitamin E from foods such as almonds, sunflower seeds, and spinach plays a vital role in protecting cells from oxidative damage. Whole foods provide vitamin E in balanced amounts the body can easily regulate. Instead of swallowing large pills, choosing nutrient-rich meals gives the body what it needs without the hidden harm. Supplements, even those praised for decades, can carry risks when taken without guidance. The habit of trusting a pill without reading its label or understanding its interaction with other medicines is what turns prevention into danger. By contrast, the habit of awareness creates liberation. Every older adult has the ability to choose wisely, to transform fear into strength by becoming informed. The wisdom of aging is not about avoiding every risk, but about recognizing the difference between help and harm. As the years advance, independence and clarity become more precious than ever. Protecting them requires humility to question old habits and courage to embrace knowledge. Evelyn's story reminds us that health is not preserved by chance, but by choice. The simple act of asking a doctor before starting a supplement, of testing blood levels before continuing a habit, or of reading a label before trusting the promise of a bottle can be the difference between stability and tragedy. Vitamin E teaches a timeless truth. Health is not given by a pill alone, but by understanding, moderation, and wisdom. Let every choice be guided by the awareness that knowledge is power, and that power protects the brain, preserves independence, and ensures that the years ahead are lived with strength and dignity. Number 2, vitamin B6. Harold Jenkins was 76, a retired truck driver from Kansas who had spent decades crisscrossing America's highways. He was strong, independent, and proud that even in his 70s, he could still maintain his own home and care for his wife. Yet, in recent years, Harold began to notice troubling changes. His feet felt numb, his hands tingled, and his balance was slipping. At first, he dismissed it as arthritis or the natural effects of aging, but then he began to fall. The third fall left him with a head injury on his bathroom floor, and that was when he sought medical help. When his supplements were reviewed, the cause became clear. For over a year, Harold had been taking a nerve support formula sold online, advertised as a brain booster for seniors. Each tablet contained 100 milligrams of vitamin B6. He took 2 tablets every day, believing he was protecting his memory and energy. In reality, he was consuming over 10 times the safe upper limit. Instead of helping, the excess vitamin B6 had quietly been poisoning his nerves. His body could not flush it out, and over time, the buildup stripped away the protective coating around his nerves, leaving him weak, unsteady, and confused. Harold's story is not rare. Many older adults in America have fallen into the same trap. They buy brain health supplements that promise focus and energy, unaware that high doses of vitamin B6 can cause lasting damage. Medical evidence supports this risk. The Institute of Medicine sets the safe upper intake level of vitamin B6 at 100 milligrams per day for adults, but most seniors only need 2 to 10 milligrams daily, including what they already get from food. Despite this, countless supplements contain 50, 100, or even 200 milligrams per pill, doses that far exceed what the aging body can safely handle. The science explains why. Unlike water-soluble vitamins such as C, which the body can excrete quickly, vitamin B6 lingers in the tissues. Excess B6 damages the myelin sheath, the protective layer around nerves, like stripping insulation off an electrical wire. The result is tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, tremors, and even confusion. The tragedy is that many seniors mistake these symptoms for arthritis, neuropathy from diabetes, or even early dementia, when in fact the culprit may be their supplement cabinet. The Harvard Nurses' Health Study, which tracked tens of thousands of participants, found that those consuming high doses of vitamin B6 had a significantly greater risk of developing nerve damage, with symptoms that in some cases became permanent. These are not abstract numbers, they are warnings written in the lives of people like Harold, who thought they were protecting themselves, but instead were robbed of their balance and confidence. Yet, the message is not to fear vitamin B6 entirely. In proper amounts, it is essential for the body. It supports metabolism, helps create neurotransmitters, and plays a role in forming hemoglobin. The key is balance. Foods such as poultry, fish, bananas, and fortified cereals provide vitamin B6 naturally in amounts that the body can use safely and effectively. Supplements, if needed, must always be guided by a physician and tailored to the individual's medical history and current medications. The lesson from Harold's story is profound. Taking matters into one's own hands without understanding can lead to silent harm, but awareness changes everything. Reading labels, knowing dosages, asking doctors, checking blood tests, and most importantly, listening to the signals of the body are acts of wisdom. They transform fear into empowerment. Vitamin B6 teaches that even something as small as a tablet can shape the course of aging. The choice lies not in rejecting help, but in seeking knowledge before accepting it. In this stage of life, when independence is treasured and every step matters, knowledge truly becomes the shield that protects both body and dignity. Awareness is not a burden. It is the medicine that empowers one to age with clarity, balance, and grace. Number 3, vitamin C. Few vitamins spark as much debate as vitamin C. To some, it is the miracle cure for colds, the elixir of energy, and a symbol of good health. To others in the medical field, high doses of vitamin C are a dangerous gamble, especially for older adults whose bodies no longer process nutrients the way they once did. Walk into any pharmacy in America, and the shelves will tell a story. Chewable tablets of 500 milligrams, effervescent powders of 1,000 milligrams, even megadose capsules boasting 5,000 milligrams or more. The controversy is simple yet profound. Can something so trusted for decades actually become harmful, particularly for those over 60? Consider the case of Margaret Wilson, a 72-year-old retired teacher from Michigan. She had always been diligent about her health, taking vitamin C every morning with her orange juice, believing it was her shield against illness. Inspired by television ads and wellness blogs, she increased her dose, swallowing 2,000 milligrams daily. For months, she felt energized, but slowly discomfort crept in. She developed kidney stones so painful they left her doubled over in tears, her independence shaken, her confidence rattled. When tests came back, the culprit was clear. Her high-dose vitamin C had increased oxalate in her urine, forming sharp crystals that lodged in her kidneys. What she thought was protection had turned into pain. Science offers a sobering explanation. While vitamin C is water-soluble and excess amounts are excreted, extremely high doses can overwhelm the body's natural filters. The liver and kidneys are forced to work harder, and the result in older adults can be kidney stones, gastrointestinal distress, and imbalances in iron absorption. A large study published in JAMA Internal Medicine found that men who consumed high doses of vitamin C supplements, about 1,000 milligrams daily, had a significantly higher risk of kidney stones compared to those who did. Well, though women were less affected in that study, the principle holds. Too much of a good thing can tip the scale toward harm. Yet the conversation around vitamin C is complicated by its cultural symbolism. In American history, the discovery that citrus fruits prevented scurvy transformed vitamin C into a hero. During flu seasons, commercials and doctors alike encouraged orange juice and supplements as the first defense. The idea that more vitamin C equals more protection became ingrained in the national psyche. For many seniors today, it is not just a nutrient, it is a comfort, a reminder of health advice passed down through generations. That emotional connection makes it difficult to accept that excess may backfire. The truth is more nuanced. Vitamin C is essential. It supports collagen production, wound healing, immune defense, and even protects the brain through its antioxidant properties. The recommended daily allowance for older adults is about 75 milligrams for women and 90 milligrams for men. A single orange contains around 70 milligrams. That means most seniors can meet their needs through a diet rich in fruits and vegetables without resorting to megadose supplements. For those who do choose to supplement, doses above 500 milligrams should be approached with caution and only under medical guidance. The lesson here is not to abandon vitamin C, but to respect it. Reading labels, asking doctors, checking kidney health, and listening to the body's whispers, these small acts prevent harm. Margaret's story reminds us that wisdom lies not in rejecting tradition, but in updating it with science. Knowledge is the true vitamin, the nourishment that strengthens both body and mind. In the end, vitamin C is not the enemy. The enemy is excess. Health is not achieved through extremes, but through balance, patience, and trust in the body's remarkable design. For seniors who wish to preserve independence, vitality, and peace of mind, moderation is not a limitation. It is liberation. Number 4, vitamin A. More than 40% of adults over 60 in the United States take vitamin A either through standalone supplements or in multivitamins, according to data from the National Institutes of Health. This statistic alone should raise concern, because unlike many other vitamins, vitamin A is fat-soluble. That means it does not simply wash out of the body in urine, but accumulates in the liver, tissues, and even the brain. Over time, this buildup can quietly become toxic, with consequences that mimic stroke, damage vision, and compromise independence. One story that still lingers in memory is that of Dorothy Simmons, a 79-year-old retired piano teacher from Oregon. She loved her students, her garden, and her independence. To her, vitamin A was part of that independence, something she believed would keep her eyesight sharp and her immune system strong. For years, she faithfully took a high-dose supplement of nearly 10,000 IU every day, never questioning the label. At first, the routine seemed harmless, but gradually, headaches appeared, then episodes of blurred vision, then moments of dizziness and slurred speech. Her family feared a stroke. Tests revealed the truth. Her brain was under pressure, not from a clot, but from vitamin A toxicity. The excess had built up silently, raising intracranial pressure and straining delicate vessels. Dorothy survived, but she now lives with lasting vision changes and requires careful monitoring. Science explains why. The body needs vitamin A for vision, skin, and immune function, but the recommended daily intake for older adults is around 2,500 to 3,000 IU. When intake exceeds this regularly, particularly from supplements rather than food, the liver stores the excess and toxicity develops. Symptoms include nausea, dizziness, bone pain, liver damage, and in severe cases, neurological effects that resemble tumors or strokes. Unlike vitamin C or B vitamins, which the body can expel when taken in high amounts, fat-soluble vitamins linger and accumulate, turning a small daily pill into a silent risk. The cultural story of vitamin A is one of both triumph and caution. It was first celebrated as the eye vitamin, credited with preventing night blindness and supporting healthy vision. Generations were told that carrots and cod liver oil would protect eyesight. This truth, though grounded in science, created a belief that more vitamin A must mean better vision. For older adults, that cultural inheritance remains powerful, yet biology tells a different story. Moderation protects, excess endangers. What matters most is balance. Vitamin A from food sources such as carrots, spinach, kale, and sweet potatoes is generally safe because the body regulates absorption from beta-carotene, the plant form of vitamin A. Problems arise when preformed vitamin A found in animal products and supplements is consumed in high doses. That is why multivitamins already containing vitamin A should not be combined with additional supplements unless prescribed. Dorothy's experience is a sobering reminder, but also an empowering one. With awareness, harm can be prevented. Reading labels, asking doctors, checking liver function, and listening to the body are small yet powerful acts of protection. Knowledge transforms fear into action, and action transforms aging into strength. Vitamin A is not the villain, ignorance is. At this stage of life, the body asks not for excess, but for wisdom. Real health comes not from chasing more, but from honoring enough. For every older adult who dreams of living with clarity, independence, and dignity, the path forward is clear. Respect vitamins, respect the body, and respect the years ahead by choosing balance. Number 5. Vitamin K. Be careful. What many believe to be a natural ally for bone strength and heart health can, in certain circumstances, turn into a silent hazard for older adults. Vitamin K, often praised for its role in blood clotting and bone metabolism, becomes a complex and sometimes dangerous nutrient when combined with common medications used by seniors, particularly blood thinners like warfarin. This is not about fear, but about awareness. The very vitamin that prevents excessive bleeding can also, when unbalanced, place lives at risk by either thinning blood too much or promoting dangerous clots. Consider the story of Mrs. Carter, a 78-year-old retired schoolteacher from Virginia. She had always prided herself on being diligent about her health. Every morning she prepared a smoothie filled with kale and spinach, convinced she was nourishing her body with the best nature could provide. She was also taking warfarin, prescribed to manage her atrial fibrillation and lower her risk of stroke. What she didn't realize was that the sudden increase in vitamin K-rich greens was interfering with her medication. One afternoon, she noticed unusual bruises on her arms. and a week later she was admitted to the hospital with a dangerous clot that had lodged near her lung. What had seemed like a safe, even virtuous choice in diet had quietly disrupted the balance her medication depended on. The science behind this is clear. Vitamin K plays a central role in activating clotting factors, proteins the body needs to stop bleeding. Medications like warfarin work by reducing the effect of vitamin K, creating thinner blood that flows more freely and resists clot formation. But when vitamin K intake suddenly rises or falls, it destabilizes this delicate system. Research published in the Journal of Thrombosis and Hemostasis found that patients on warfarin who consumed inconsistent levels of vitamin K had nearly double the risk of complications, ranging from uncontrolled bleeding to dangerous clotting events. It is not the presence of vitamin K alone that is dangerous. It is the fluctuation, the lack of balance, that turns protection into peril. For older adults, this message carries particular weight. Many are prescribed blood thinners, aspirin, or other medications that affect clotting. At the same time, they are encouraged to eat more vegetables, take supplements, or use fortified products that unknowingly increase vitamin K intake. The result is often confusion, a tug-of-war between doing what seems healthy and avoiding harm. In truth, the answer is not to eliminate vitamin K, but to manage it with consistency and knowledge. A stable daily intake allows doctors to calibrate medications accurately, ensuring both safety and protection. Mr. Daniels, a 72-year-old veteran, offers a hopeful example. After a frightening hospital stay due to internal bleeding, he began working closely with a dietitian. Instead of avoiding greens entirely, he established a consistent routine, a small serving of spinach at lunch every day, balanced with careful monitoring of his medication. His doctor adjusted his warfarin dosage accordingly, and within months his blood tests stabilized. More importantly, he regained confidence in his health. He could enjoy meals again without fear, knowing that knowledge and moderation, not extremes, were his true safeguards. This balance extends beyond medication interactions. Vitamin K2, a form found in fermented foods like natto and certain cheeses, has been shown in studies from the European Heart Journal to help direct calcium away from arteries and toward bones, potentially lowering the risk of both osteoporosis and vascular calcification. For seniors, this distinction matters. While vitamin K1 from leafy greens primarily influences clotting, vitamin K2 supports bone and heart health in a different way. Yet without guidance, many never learn that not all vitamin K sources are equal. The deeper lesson is that nutrition in later years is rarely black and white. Foods that heal in one context may harm in another, and the line between them is drawn not by fear but by understanding. Reading labels carefully, keeping track of medication interactions, and having regular blood tests are not burdens, they are forms of empowerment. They transform uncertainty into clarity, allowing older adults to participate actively in their care rather than being at the mercy of chance. Mrs. Carter eventually recovered and returned to her classroom part-time, sharing her story with students to remind them that learning never ends. She often said, "I used to think health was about willpower, but now I know it's about wisdom. That wisdom, born of experience, guided by science, and grounded in respect for the body, becomes the real shield against decline." Vitamin K is not the enemy. It is a powerful ally when understood, respected, and kept in balance. For those over 65, the key is not avoidance, but awareness. By working with doctors, maintaining consistency, and listening closely to the body, it is possible to turn what seems like a hidden threat into a steady source of protection. Knowledge becomes power, and power becomes freedom. The freedom to live with strength, clarity, and confidence in the years ahead. Number 6. Niacin, vitamin B3. Picture two men in their 70s, both determined to protect their hearts. One, a retired school principal in Ohio, chooses a balanced diet with salmon, walnuts, and whole grains. The other, a retired postman in Florida, trusts the promise of a glossy bottle labeled Heart Health, swallowing 2 1,000-milligram niacin capsules each day. One enjoys steady mornings with calm energy, while the other wakes with a flushed face, pounding chest, and dizziness, that makes the ground feel unsteady. Both believed they were doing what was best for their hearts, yet their paths could not be more different. The second man, Frank Miller, became a sobering reminder of how good intentions can backfire. For years, Frank trusted his over-the-counter supplement, never questioning that more must mean better. But the niacin he was taking, more than 2,000 milligrams daily, was far above what an aging body could safely handle. The repeated flushing was not a harmless side effect. His blood vessels were expanding and then snapping back, straining his circulation like a fragile bridge tested too many times. One morning his speech slurred and his right arm weakened. It was a transient ischemic attack, a mini-stroke. Though his symptoms resolved, the warning was clear. His heart helper was quietly gambling with his brain. Medical research explains why. Niacin, or vitamin B3, plays a natural role in energy metabolism and has long been prescribed in controlled doses to manage cholesterol. But high doses, often above 50 milligrams daily for seniors, cause blood vessel dilation, followed by constriction, spikes in blood pressure, and irregular heart rhythms. Studies from the Mayo Clinic have warned that megadoses can increase the risk of stroke and worsen glucose control in older adults. What begins as a seemingly small pill can become a hammer tapping against fragile vessels until something finally gives way. Culturally, niacin carries the weight of medical history. For decades, doctors prescribed it to patients as a natural way to lower cholesterol, and stories of its benefits spread quickly. But what was once useful in clinical settings, under supervision, has been transformed into flush-free and extended-release pills sold online and in supermarkets. Seniors across America, eager to protect their hearts, pick them up without warning labels or consultations. The difference between benefit and harm lies not in niacin itself, but in how it is used. Niacin from food like poultry, fish, whole grains, and peanuts provides steady nourishment without risk. Supplements, however, must be treated with caution. Older adults should not exceed safe limits without direct medical guidance, and those already managing blood pressure or heart conditions must be especially careful. Reading labels, asking doctors, checking blood pressure, and listening to the body's signals are not just habits, but lifelines. Frank's story ends with resilience. After stopping the supplement and returning to a heart-healthy diet, his balance returned and his mornings grew calm again. He told his family, "I thought I was protecting my heart, but it turns out wisdom is the best protection of all." His journey is a reminder that health is not found in extremes, but in balance. Not in blindly following labels, but in informed choices guided by knowledge and care. Niacin is not the enemy. Ignorance and excess are. The gift of aging is perspective, and the gift of knowledge is freedom. To live with vitality in the later years, the heart must be guarded not just by pills, but by wisdom, moderation, and respect for the body's delicate design. Number 7, vitamin D. What if the very supplement believed to keep bones strong and mood stable could, under the wrong circumstances, quietly set the stage for a stroke in the middle of the night? This question unsettles many because vitamin D has long been celebrated as a hero of health. Yet for older adults, especially those who take it in high doses without medical guidance, the story is far more complex. Walter, a 74-year-old retired Navy veteran, lived with discipline and precision. Every morning, he lined up his supplements with the same care he once gave to his uniform. At the top of the row was a 10,000 IU capsule of vitamin D, a dose he believed would protect his bones and prevent fractures. He was confident in his choices, never imagining danger could be hiding in something so ordinary. Then one morning, his wife found him confused, his speech slurred, his right arm limp. The diagnosis was a stroke. Tests revealed high calcium levels, stiff arteries, and blood pressure that fluctuated wildly. The culprit was not age alone, but vitamin D toxicity slowly building up over time. The science is sobering. Vitamin D helps the body absorb calcium, but in excess, especially above 2,000 IU daily without deficiency, it pushes calcium into the bloodstream faster than the body can regulate. That surplus calcium then hardens arteries and raises blood pressure, creating the perfect storm for clot formation. Studies published in the New England Journal of Medicine have shown that high-dose vitamin D supplementation, particularly without medical oversight, increases the risk of vascular calcification and cardiovascular events. The risk grows when it is taken at night, as blood pressure naturally dips and dehydration is more likely, compounding vulnerability. Culturally, vitamin D has been wrapped in a glow of positivity. Doctors recommend it for bone health. Media outlets praise it for mood and immunity, and supplement companies market ever larger doses as essential. For many seniors, especially in northern states where winters are long and sunlight scarce, vitamin D feels like hope in a capsule. Yet the assumption that more is better has quietly betrayed that hope for some. The lesson is not to fear vitamin D, but to use it wisely. Blood tests should guide supplementation, not advertisements or habits. Levels can be checked easily, and safe doses vary depending on diet, sun exposure, and individual health conditions. For most older adults, 600 to 800 IU daily is sufficient, and anything more should be discussed with a physician. Taking it in the morning, with food, and monitoring calcium intake provides protection without risk. Walter's story reminds us that even the most disciplined routines can turn dangerous without awareness. His stroke was life-altering, but his recovery also brought clarity. By replacing pills with balanced nutrition, moderate sun exposure, and careful monitoring, he reclaimed strength and independence. He now tells others, "It wasn't the vitamin that failed me, it was the lack of knowledge." Vitamin D remains a powerful ally when respected, but it becomes an enemy when abused. The message is clear. Read the label, ask the doctor, check the blood, and listen to the body. At this stage of life, health is not preserved by excess, but by wisdom. Knowledge is not just power, it is protection, and it is the key to living the later years with clarity, balance, and strength. Thank you for watching until now. It means you care about your health and your future, and for that, we honor you. Here is the truth many people never hear. Just because a vitamin is sold over the counter or advertised as natural does not mean it is always safe. For older adults, especially those taking medications or living with chronic conditions, some vitamins can quietly turn from helper to harm. The most shocking part, these risks often come not from deficiencies but from too much of a good thing. We saw this with vitamin E, quietly increasing the risk of bleeding in the brain, with vitamin B6, damaging nerves until hands go numb and legs give way, with vitamin C forming kidney stones that steal your peace, and with vitamin A and D building up silently in the body until the brain or heart cries out. These are not just nutrients, they are decisions, and behind every pill is a story that can change a life. So what is the core lesson? Simplicity, balance, respect for the body. Real health does not come from chasing miracle cures or swallowing more supplements. It comes from understanding your unique needs, talking to your doctor, reading labels, and asking hard questions. It means treating every pill with the same care you give to prescriptions, and it means knowing that wisdom, not fear, is your greatest shield. If this video brought you value or made you reflect, we invite you to share it with someone you care about. There is someone in your life who may be quietly making a mistake they don't yet see. Your share could be their turning point. And if this is your first time visiting our channel, or if you haven't subscribed yet, we warmly invite you to do so today so you won't miss the next valuable video we share. Now, here's a question for you to think about. What is one supplement or habit you've trusted for years without questioning? And how would it feel to pause, reflect, and ask your body what it truly needs today? We would also love to hear from you. What part of this message spoke to you most deeply? Have you had personal experience with supplements or medications that changed how you think about health? Please leave a comment below. Your perspective could help someone else make a better choice. Thank you for watching our video. May you always be strong in body, peaceful in mind, and joyful in heart as you walk through this precious chapter of life. Stay informed, stay connected, and above all, stay well.